Good day, good day. Today we're going to talk about the basics of starting your trading card business selling journey. And it's not going to be the basics. This is kind of like the advanced basics, because the basics would be something like find a pile of cards, list them on TCG Player, you get sales, you put the card inside of a sleeve, you put the sleeve inside of a top loader, you put the top loader inside of a team bag, you tape that up, you tape it to the packing form, you put the packing form in the envelope, and then the envelope you got to put a stamp on it, and then you got to stamp your address on it, and then you're good to go. And that is important stuff. And if you want to learn more about the basics of selling cards, let me know, because I will probably make that video too, whether you want me to or not. But I probably will make that video. But this isn't that video. This video is the advanced basics, because yes, if you have a pile of cards in your corner, you can sell those. You're probably not going to make a ton of money. Maybe you will. Maybe you've got an expensive pile of cards. Good for you. But once you sell those pile of cards, what next? You know, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. It's pretty, easy is not the right word. It's not easy. It takes a lot of work, but it's pretty straightforward and it's pretty simple to sell cards. What is less simple is getting cards. You got to spend money to make money. And I hate that phrase, not because it's not true, but because it's like misleading. And it's so easy to spend money to not make money when it comes to selling Magic the Gathering cards. You need to know what to buy. You need to know how to buy. And so that's what this video is about. It's what to buy. It's how to buy. And specifically, we're going to talk about a lot of the sealed products that you can buy. Wizards of the Coast sealed, brand new in the packaging stuff. You open it, you get the cards out of it, and you sell those cards and you make money. I'm going to talk about some tools that you can use to help you in that journey. But let me talk about the gold standard first. Well, it's not the gold standard, but Old Reliable. Old Reliable is buying people's collections at 70% of market, or 60%, or 65%, or 75%. Let me explain. So, in general, with any cards that you buy, there's risk that the prices will fluctuate. They'll go up and down. With booster boxes, there's an added risk because there's randomness of the packs inside. You could open a really great booster box. You could open up a really bad booster box. That being considered, in my opinion, the least amount of risk you can take is going to somebody and buying their collection for 70% market price and then selling it for 100% market price. There's some caveats to this. If you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of cards to sell, you're probably going to have to sell at TCG low. And so I would try to buy at like 75% TCG low instead of 70% of market to kind of guarantee you money. Why 75%? Why 70%? Well, it's some quick math. This is some down and dirty math. But when you sell on TCG Player, you're going to have to pay shipping and you're going to have to pay fees. And fees often come out to about, it's like 13.5% when you're just getting started, or maybe a little less than that, but it's about that. And then shipping, of course, shipping for a single card that's less than $35, 35 and above, I ship with tracking. Below that, I ship with stamps, just plain white envelope. And it's worked out for me so far. And so there's the cost, right? So if you're selling a $5 card and it takes a stamp, that stamp is, 76 cents or whatever it is these days. And you got your envelope and your materials that are a few cents, maybe 10. And then, and so you get these costs that add up and that takes out of your profits. And so for let's say it costs you $1 all in to ship, which I don't think it does. I think it can cost less, but if it takes $1 all in to ship, if you sell a $5 card, you're paying for shipping. That's taking away 20% of your margin. Just right there is your dollar, the dollar cost to ship. And now if you sell a more expensive card, if you sell a $30 card and you're shipping it and the shipping costs $1, now it's only taking a few percent away, right? So what's the point? Well, the point is that when I'm doing my shorthand math for how much should I spend on a collection, the answer is somewhere around 70%. What I tell myself is that keeps me safe, because if I'm spending 13.5% to 15% on fees, I'm spending about 5 to 10% on shipping, hopefully like 5% or less. And then that leaves myself 10% margins. Now, I find that usually it's better than that, better than 10% margins, especially if you buy a collection that has like $1, $2, $3 cards. If you're selling those onesie twosies, TCG Player charges shipping fee for that. let me take a step back and just say that, like, it's a lot of work, right? If you're going to buy someone's collection, if you're going to buy a case of booster boxes, if you're going to buy commander decks, it's a lot of work to break down. And it is not the best money per minute out there. What I will say is that it is some of the most flexible money per minute. And it is some of the most, in my opinion, fun money per minute out there. But it is work. So anyways, back to the points. There's a lot of... you just got to be careful. You got to be careful how much you spend on these collections so that you make sure that you come out ahead. But you can do that. Like for me, I spend 70% on a full market price collection, and I'm able to sell that collection onesie twosie cards on TCG Player for a full market price, and I make my money back eventually. You know, I've got cards from collections that I bought months ago, and I also am selling cards that I bought from collections months ago. You know, it churns, you know, so I constantly have inventory, but I'm selling and I'm making money, and I am coming out ahead. You know, I was able to see it clearly last year when I did my tax return, and I was like, wow, I made some good money. But yeah, it's a process. It's a whole thing. So buying collections, now that we're, 6 minutes in, just able to say that buying collections is all reliable, is a good place to be. Now, of course, that is harder, in my opinion, than some of these other options I'm going to talk through. But if you can do it, if you can get on Facebook Marketplace and find people and just offer them, say like, hey, I'll pay you 70% of market. And some people say no, and other people will be like, yes, please, thank you. Some people are really excited to just get rid of all their stuff in one fell swoop. And a lot of people aren't excited about that, and that's okay. I don't like rejection. Obviously, nobody does, but I'm not somebody who's like incredible at getting rejected. But, you're really offering, the way I view it is you really are offering a service. If you're saying like, hey, I'm willing to fork over whatever it is, $700 cash for your $1,000 collection, that is convenience, that is ease. Like, I think that's a great thing to offer. Some people will be like, oh, you're lowballing, blah, blah, blah. And I suppose from one perspective, but like I said, a lot of people that I've talked to have been very, very grateful for the money that I'm providing. And they're very happy to all at once get rid of a collection because they don't want to do the work that I want to do. They don't want to sell the cards one at a time. So anyways, okay, let me talk about 3 tools today. 3 tools, all 3 on the internet. All 3 cost some form of money. I think one of them has a free trial. And we're going to go in order, I guess from worst to best, because that's like a good way to format YouTube videos. Let me share with you. None of these are sponsors. None of these have paid me a cent or anything. Mox Alpha, in case you didn't know, this is Mox Alpha. And Mox Alpha is a beast of a platform. They've got all kinds of goodies. So what are they? They are an expected value estimating website. So you look up any booster box or any commander deck or any sealed Magic the Gathering product, and they will tell you the expected value of this deck is this, or the expected value of this box of cards is this. It's very cool. I used Mox Alpha for 4 hours, and then I got a full refund because for 2 reasons. One is it's hecka expensive. You can check it out, but I think it's like $400 for the year or something like that. I might be wrong. Like I said, not sponsored. This is just my experience. But the other thing for me personally, I'm somebody who I've written code, like I'll pull up my code. You can see. I've written code to grab Magic prices off the internet and estimate the value of things. When I compared the stuff that my code did, which I know my code is right, my code is janky and dumb, but I know that my code is right. I can share my code again in another video if y'all would like. Comment below. But I know that the answers, the result my code gives me is correct. And when I compared it to some Mox Alpha stuff, it really made me question the accuracy of some of Mox Alpha's numbers. Now, that being said, I think that I am wrong to some degree because, like it or not, it is trusted by businesses like yours. And RNG Games, Hometown TCG, like I worship these guys. I don't think they're wrong to use Mox Alpha. It's like all these are recognizable names. Well, I say that. And the names I really recognize is RNG. But anyways, you get the point. there's lots of people that use Mox Alpha to great success, and they like it, and that's great. It's a great tool. You should investigate, look up reviews. I don't know. It's something out there. Want to recommend it because there's so many people that recommend it and use it regularly. Mostly bigger businesses, though. I don't know about the basement sellers like me. Basement sellers like me are probably more drawn towards something like, this is ev.anontcg.com. And this is part of Anon's Patreon, Discord Pro, whatever program. So once again, not a sponsor, but this is something I'm a part of, which is the Anon Discord server. And so you can go to Anon's YouTube channel, Anon TCG, and look up his videos, get on his Discord, which is free, but then you can get the paid version of his Discord or whatever platform he uses to like pay, and then it gets connected to your Discord, and then you can go to this website and you can look up the expected value of things. And this is really cool because it's like $13 a month, and in my opinion, it's more accurate and just better than Mox Alpha, which, like I said, I only use Mox Alpha for 4 hours, so I'm not really a Mox Alpha pro. Man, I'm not getting sponsored by Mox Alpha, am I? So this is a cool site, and I used this site. I used this site to look into Modern Horizons 3, play boosters. Look at that. Current TCG player market price. And the expected value at a 25-cent sifting floor is 246. At 50-cent sifting floor is like 240. This is about where I would live, around the 50-cent. There's some 25-cent cards I will pull out and sell, but it's much easier to like grab all the 50-cent plus cards. And so $240. And I was thinking to myself, okay, if I could buy these Modern Horizons 3 booster boxes for like a decent price, there might be potential here to make some money. Enter in Flipside Gaming, where for $1260, which comes out for $210 each, you can get 6 Modern Horizons 3, a sealed case of Modern Horizons 3 play packs. And look at this. eBay's telling you this listing below has been updated by the seller, but you can see the item you purchased. Oh, okay. So they updated it. Whoops. Anyway, this is really cool. I might do it again. I don't know. But I bought a case of Modern Horizons 3 booster boxes, because in part help thanks to Anon EVTCG.com, whatever. It's a cool thing. It's a cool platform. You can also look up commander decks on here, and lots of great data, which is good. One thing I will say, though, is that I don't fully trust this EV estimator either. And the reason for that is just because it is hard. It is hard to estimate the value of these sealed boxes. And what's nice about Anon's platform is that you can look at the details for the cards, like, it'll tell you the Ocelot Pride represents, 50 cents or whatever, like $5 of the estimated value, expected value of a full booster box. So that it's like, oh, that's like the top hit. You want to get one of those to like really get your expected value, and it will show you like the rares and the uncommons and commons that make up the expected value. And if you're savvy about it, that the boxes and the sets where the expected value comes from lower end cards, comes from uncommons and commons and rares, that you're much more likely to get your money back than getting a swingy mythic. If there's a box that you have to open the one mythic to make your money back, that is quite risky. And as a reseller, that's a kind of box I would avoid, because there's just a high chance that you're going to spend a lot of money working to move a lot of cards, and you're not actually going to make any money. So anyways, there's a learning curve. It is what it is, but it's a cool platform. Now I'm going to share the coolest platform, in my opinion, not a sponsor, but a friend, is Toploaded.io. So this is fresh. This is a beta. You can do a free trial. It's very, very cool. What's cool about it is that it focuses on commander decks. I love commander decks for their potential to buy and open and sell the pieces, parts inside, for a number of reasons. The biggest one is that what you're going to get. You're going to open up this commander deck. There's going to be 100 cards in it, and what cards are there. what's really cool about this site is just you open it up and it's like, these are the top pre-con opportunities. And you look through, and then of course you don't grab the one at top because I don't know, maybe everybody else is. And so I take a look at this Paradox Power, and this is quite cool. So market price, $44, card value, $86. The 61 cards make that up. So you're telling yourself like, oh, 61 cards, that's what I have to sell to make like this money. This is just helpful information. What it takes to sell on average the cards, what it takes to sell the slowest cards. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier, where some cards take a long time to sell, but that's okay because you kind of have this revolving door where you do make money. But it takes some money at first to make some money later. Lots of cool, interesting analytics here. And then this is what I really like is down here, the cards. One by one, the cards, the price. And so you can kind of add up. Oh man, Quantum Misalignment is such a good card, and it is crazy that it's $18 now. Is that real? Hold on. Chat, is that real? I really recommend Quantum Misalignment. I recommend checking these things and being careful about these things. Yeah, the price is even higher than what it was saying. That's crazy. And so, yeah, like that's an example where, you know, this price is spot on. Like this website is doing a great job grabbing prices, keeping them updated. What's interesting is you look here at the prices, you know, it's saying like, oh, you could buy one for like $43. You go onto the website, you can buy one for $43, $44, but it only comes with the deck. It doesn't come with the collector sample pack, which might be okay because, you know, your expected value here, it's not estimating it, including the collector sample pack. So this might be a strategy to get ahead. But, you know, I look here, I'm like, okay, I can buy 7 of these right now, $50 each, and then bust these open, make $86 in cards, and then after shipping and fees, what is 80? What is? I'm going to do the math, but I'm not going to do it while you're watching me. I'm going to put it to the side here. 86 times 0.8, yeah, $64. So you get $14 per deck, and then there's the collector sample pack as well. What are those going for? The Doctor Who collector sample pack, collector sample. Oh, like $5. Okay. You can actually open up some banger cards in those. The expected value of those individual collector sample packs might be more than $5. So anyways, what's the point? So you can see how skeptical I am of all these websites, but I like this one. I like this one a lot. It focuses on a niche that is critical, which is the commander decks. It gives you the individual prices where you can kind of like take a look through. And you know, when I'm skimming through, I'm like, okay, $4 for the Reliquary Tower, a couple bucks for Soul Ring, $3 for a Sonic Screwdriver, $4 for a Fiery Islet. You know, I'm just able to kind of like add up real quick and be like, okay, what is the expected value here? And 30, 40, you know, you get like $40 from just a couple cards. Anyways, it's cool. I think there is an opportunity here. I don't know if I'm going to do it yet. I don't know. I'll have to like, you know, check my schedule or something. But I have actually already done a play using Toploaded.io, which was the Lord of the Rings, the Elf commander deck. That was good. That was really good. It was good timing too, because the decks weren't very expensive on TCG Player. What I'm probably going to do is try to look up if I can find these decks cheaper somewhere else, like eBay or whatever. But anyways, that's a tool. Toploaded.io. Check it out. Like I said, I believe there's free trial. And that's the gist. So what have we talked about today? We talked about sourcing, how to find product that you can open up and sell. That is critical. I mean, I remember, so when I started my business, well, I started my business in 23, but in 24, I was listening to Kitchen Table TCG on their podcast, their Friday podcast, which just started up again. So excited. The May the Zoo Be With You podcast. You should check it out if you haven't. They're also not a sponsor. And they said, like Louis said, like, you know, a lot of my patrons are making hundreds of dollars a week because they are buying and breaking down commander decks and selling the pieces inside. Now, and that's what got me to join, my money grubbing self. I'm like, what, money? Okay. And I joined his Discord, and I've been there ever since, and it's been fantastic. Now, I will say that there were a lot more commander decks you could buy from distribution that you could break down and sell the pieces easy peasy, a couple of years ago than there are today. But I imagine that will change. I imagine that there will be more commander decks, but also, maybe there won't, because the thing is, people are buying Magic products like they never have before. Stuff is selling like it never has before, and that makes it a little tricky for flippers, for resellers like ourselves, to buy and open up products and sell cards. But there's still opportunities. You just have to have the right tools to be able to look up the stuff, find the plays, make the moves, make the money. It's good times, y'all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.